So a couple of years ago, April 2015, I made this track in Studio One called The System. It was under my Industry Insider guise, alternate ego type thing. And what I wanted to do was a bit more steadier house beat. And I wanted to test myself and basically rip something off YouTube, I'll admit it, and add it to a groove and see what it came out about. And what it was essentially a speech about people who don't fit into the conventional system of society and are considered outcast basically because of it. So I set up this groove and made it in Studio One, and basically this is just a playthrough just to see what I did. Now I've never done one of these sort of things before, so it's also worth considering that I made this a couple of years ago and I can't remember pretty much how I did do it, but it is quite a simple tune and it is quite effective, and it's one of my favourite ones that I've made. So just a quick listen and skip through and just looking at some of the elements that made it what it is. So let's go. Now you can see it's quite simple, several tracks, that's it. So, looking at the instruments, you can see in Studio One a couple of instances of massive Impact, which is Studio One's drum machine, which actually is really good and it's got some great kits. Analog Lab by Arturia and Mojito, which is the built-in synthesizer, which is ever so powerful in Studio One. So a simple kick drum, which is almost likely to be a sample. Yeah, just a sample, and you can hear a bass rumbling in the background to it as well. Looks like I've added some sort of vinyl hiss noise as well. Let me just scroll back and see what Massive is doing here. Alright, it's making this like siren noise, and the preset for that now is a Pad 4 Pluto. I must have tweaked that. And there's some percussion elements which I must have programmed at some point there as well, just to add some dimension at the beginning. My transition effects are a simple crash, which looks like it's from a John Cutler sample pack, and I've just tweaked it. This is quite a nice noise sound. I made this using Arturia's Analog Lab. I have no idea what the preset is, if it is a preset. I don't know. I don't even know how to find what I've used in this one. I can't remember how to use it. That bass sounds good. I assume that's the bass. Yeah, Loco Bass. I think I was looking at Attack on the internet, the website, and there was an interview with Darius Syrossian, and he had made a track, and one of the presets I downloaded, it was called Loco Bass, from a track he had made a while ago. Yeah, Very simple, single note on a repeated pattern. So on this, what it looks like I've done is got a sample and tweaked it and split it onto 2 tracks and either pitched it up. Let me look. What have I done? Filtered it, and that's what I look. If you look over here, there's a filter on it. So on one track, I filtered it differently to the second track. So that's lead 1. Let's have a look at lead 3. Yeah, there's 2 filters on it, just to add some variation between the 2 tracks themselves. So I'll just play it forward a little bit. Yeah, this second one's it's got more of a pronounced filter. So what I did there, I ripped a speech off YouTube, and I've seemed to have harmonised it. Vox 1 and Vox 3 you can just see just here. Doubled it up. I may have, what are the effects? Let me have a look. I've had a reverb to that one and an effect delay to this second one. And it sounds...
The genetic argument allows us the luxury of ignoring past and present historical and social factors. It's all in the genius, an explanation for the way things are that does not threaten the way things are.
Yeah, I've looked at that, this finger clap thing. This is using the impact element of Studio One. This is actually a really good drum sampler.
Engage in antisocial behavior. Most prosperous nation on earth.
I particularly like these 2 elements together. This massive here, sorry, this next one. It's like a siren and resonance from Arturia. Is it resonance? Analog Lab, beg your pardon. That forms the basis of the track. That is the key sound to this track. So that's the basis of the track itself, and there's only minimal processing looking at it. There's a few Pro EQs from Fabfilter and a couple of UAD. I do like this UAD Little Labs Voice of God when I'm working on bass to bring out the low end frequencies, but it looks like the basis of the track, I would say, would be Ozone has had some nice impact on this track. Now in Ozone 5 they used to have a reverb element. Ozone 6 and 7 they don't have a reverb anymore, but I did like Ozone 5 when it did add a reverb, and I think that this track benefits from the use of a minimal amount of reverb just to add a sort of spacey sound to it. So I'll just play it and I'll take the reverb off and we'll see the difference.
Flaw in the wiring somewhere.
that's interesting. In all honesty, it doesn't look like I've even had it on anyway. It seems like most of the work was done through the equalizer itself, which has only got a small cut at the bottom end, a bit of a smiley curve and a bit of peak, a bit of a high shelf at the end. Let me have a look at the dynamics. Let me play it.
Flaw in the wiring somewhere.
Very minimal gain reduction. It's got a nice spread on it.
Flaw in the wiring somewhere. It can't be the system. The genetic argument allows us the luxury.
And I think also this is the maximizer in ozone. It's demonstrating that I'm not really redlining it or hammering it, massive clipping or anything like that. It's only on the stabs itself.
The genetic argument allows us the luxury of ignoring past and present historical and social factors.
So I think looking at the mix in general, it's been well mixed, not too hot before it even got to ozone. Looking at some of the levels, let me scroll up and down. No, they're not particularly.
The genetic argument allows us the luxury of ignoring past and present historical and social factors.
There's a bit of bussing down here as well.
It's all in the genes, an explanation for the way things are that does not threaten the way things are. It can't be the system.
No, it seems nicely balanced. Anyway, so the principle of that is showing that you can rip something off YouTube just to add some dimension to your track, and also that it's not essential to be programming everything. So using some samples to add spice to the track, and also some of your own elements to it, can make quite a simple track sound quite full. And I'm particularly proud of this track. It's nice, it's not in your face, it's not too heavy going, it's not too hot, and it's got a nice message when you listen to it in its entirety.
all in the genes, an explanation for the way things are that does not threaten the way things are. It can't be the system. Why should someone feel unhappy or engage in antisocial behavior when that person is living in the freest and most prosperous nation on earth? There must be a flaw in the wiring somewhere.